Dear,
Gam!
welcome.
Hi.
Dear.
Gam?
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Story number 99.
That's not how you are.
Episode. Oh, okay. Season 16.
How are
Serial
you?
number 2. I am the pirate planet, dear.
Oh, that's
the
great.
Pirate Planet.
That sounds like a pretty
the
good...
first
that sounds like a
episode
good
written
thing.
by Douglas Adams
Ooh.
of famed
Of
Hitchhiker's Guide to the
fame?
Galaxy, Historia, and
Mhm.
Dirk Gently's Detective Agency, and many
Yeah.
others' greatness.
Yeah.
The Pirate Planet, dear.
Mm-hmm.
It's a second story in our Key to Time arc.
Yeah.
We're collecting the if you
The
don't
keys.
remember what the arc is,
Too bad.
go
Go back.
and listen to the Reboss operation.
fuck
go,
you.
Go back.
Go
back.
listen to the other one.
Do not pass go. Do not collect
You're
$200.
supposed to listen to the podcast in order. If you're not doing that, then you're not listening to the podcast correctly. Mm.
Fun fact, I actually have 2 playlists for the podcast. One
Oh.
is in recorded order, in the order in which we've recorded the podcast, and the
Uh-huh.
other is in chronological order of the episodes.
Oh.
So if you actually want to listen to them in Doctor Who episode order, so for instance, the Galaxy 4 one that we recorded a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
that one in the recorded playlist is, near the top because it's a pretty recent episode. But in the episode playlist, it's all the way near the fucking beginning. And it's got some fucking whiplash because it's stuck between 2 episodes of 2 years of us ago.
How? Hold on. How?
Mm-hmm. do you
How
mean?
did I not know about that?
Because I haven't told anyone.
That's fair.
I was actually going to announce it on when another episode we had recorded came out, but I forgot. So there you go. It's been announced now. If you go to I'll make it live so you can look at it. It'll be public when this episode goes public. So actually, it'll be public before this episode goes public because I'll forget if I wait this long. So I'll just do it as soon as we finish recording here, which definitely won't date this if you've noticed when it went live.
Don't worry about it.
But yeah, so if you want to listen in episode order or in recording order, no one's asked me to do it. I just did it because I know that's something I would want. if I was listening to a podcast like this, I'd like, well, do I want to listen to it in the way that they recorded it, or do I want to listen to it in the way that the episode goes? So, I thought, fuck it, two podcasts. Anyway, the Pirate Planet.
Yeah.
What happens in it, dear?
Jesus Christ, Cam, calm down.
Oh.
Also, the primary thing that happens in the Pirate Planet is yardy hardy har. That's the primary thing.
Yardy hardy har.
Hardy hardy hardy.
Oh, I did.
Okay, we see a city of
An Irish drinking song. I
by
love
pirates.
That episode.
By pirates, yes. And then Colin Mockery comes across and goes,
We're looking for a map.
We fell into the hands and it was a trap. Into there. Anyway.
Oh, I did.
God damn it. Okay, we actually have to talk about the episode. Holy shit.
I know it may sound like we're avoiding talking about the episode because it's not. This is actually a really good episode. It's just we're having a lot of fun.
For once. So there's a city of stone, and it looks weird compared to like the space building that's in a mountain. And there's a captain. There's a captain here, and he's being a dick to his crew. And the science man comes up, and his name is just basically gonna just be Shmee, because it's Hook and Shmee.
Mr. Fibley.
Yes. And he goes, I'm not gonna fucking deal with tardiness, Mr. Shmee. And the captain shoulders his gun parrot, and it's very violent, and it's like, wah! And they're mining here, by the way, apparently. But also there's this weird thing in this chart, but I don't care, let's mine it anyway. And he's also a robot pirate, and that is over the whole city. And also someone is watching the people cheer when he's like, wow, we're gonna have a whole nother world of great things and whatever. And one man isn't cheering, so that's probably not good. And then we see a death cult watching him and go, like, let's make him evil. And the doctor is pulling the timepiece, putting the timepiece inside a shoe, inside a fridge for hiding, much like a frog in a log in the hole in the bottom of the sea. The Roma is learning about the TARDIS, but the key has found where the next one is. It's a shitty little planet, apparently, but then we argue about how to operate the TARDIS. The TARDIS has trouble landing, because of course it does. Cut to the captain having engine problems, and the planet is an entire ship.
Oh, you missed the best bit.
Let me finish.
When they're having trouble landing, the doctor's face gets shoved against the console.
Oh, yeah. That's true. It does, but
and that's how they cover up him being bitten by a dog.
Yeah, they're like, this wound on my face, it was the TARDIS. Don't worry about it. So Romana's like, I would like to fly the TARDIS, and does it perfectly. And she's like, hey. And K9 is now doing donuts for some reason. Also, side note, the cult is also going in circles and maybe killing someone? I don't really know. But this doesn't seem right. The planet wasn't here when the doctor tried to land. Cut to that one kid dying, his parents, actually they're his siblings, being upset, and he's making noise and he'll be found, and it's weird. And a man comes into the house and notes the kid dying and goes, again? Really? And cut to the cult seeing the TARDIS on their brain waves and goes, oop, we gotta do something about that. Romana goes to talk to someone and basically learns that everything is great here and is given diamonds and rubies and emeralds, and it's great. However, when the man goes to eat jelly babies given to him, he's nearly shot for it. Also, gems are literally littered everywhere, like trash, like they're just on the ground. Even this rare, like Ulian, which is apparently super hyper rare. Cut back to the dying kid. Everyone is sick of being rich because it doesn't mean anything. But Grandpa's like, no, stick to the normal. Don't break character. Just stop it. And the doctor keeps trying to ask about Caligrax, but no one seems to want to talk to him. Too bad the doctor now hears someone screaming about being murderers, so he goes to talk to the kid that's dying. Romana is met by some guards who take her telescope, asking why she has it because it's forbidden, and when she asks why, she's arrested. However, she gets a chance to send K9 to the doctor instead, while the cult marches over some green hills like Sonic. And then the captain is talking to the robot parrot, but the scientist comes up and says they have found a rogue telepath, so the guards go to kill the cultist coming this way. Shooting does nothing. Don't worry about it. They reflect it. Guards die or pass out or whatever. Captain also really wants to kill the doctor, by the way. Also maybe K9. The doctor tries to get information out of the dying kid before the guards get here, but K9 stuns them. Everyone's just yelling, but now the cult's here, and the doctor's like, ah, and then the cult knocks him out, so that sucks.
Yep, and he's dead now. So that's the end of the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Romana's in jail and he's dead. That's the end of the show.
Yeah. I know, right? So, this is Douglas Adams' first contribution to Doctor Who. While he was working on this story, he actually had just sold his radio play of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy to the BBC. So he was actually working on them both at the same time. And while he was, one thing he wrote in this was that makes a lot of sense once you realize it, is he hated when writers in Doctor Who would just write and they run down the corridor scene. You'll love this, dear, because he shares the same philosophy that you do. If it's just scene after scene of people running through corridors, it's fucking boring.
Yes.
So he was like, okay, what if instead of a corridor, we have this air car that takes them from A to B? Instead of a corridor, we have this. And immediately, with all the ideas in this story, the head of serials at the BBC was like, I don't think I want this story put in production. It seems a little bit too ambitious for the budget. And I don't know if you've noticed, but we have no fucking money anymore. And it was also worried that Douglas Adams was taking the show into a little bit too comedic territory, which I completely fucking disagree with. Like, this is not... Doctor Who and comedy work very well together.
Well,
this is not too comedic.
No. God, no. Fuck no.
You just have to, use the right level of comedy. Like, for instance, with the 7th Doctor, they used... because Sylvester McCoy came from a kind of a slapstick comedy background. For the first few episodes, they do, like, a bit of slapstick with him, and it doesn't really work.
Yeah.
But then they, get into better acts of comedy with him. Like he brings out props. Like Sylvester McCoy is well known for playing the spoons, so the Doctor plays the spoons, and it works. It works because not because it's funny he's playing the spoons, but it's like, why is he playing the spoons right now? Anyway, I got off track. So he wrote in this sort of thing, and they were like, we don't know if you want to make it. He spoke to the director, he spoke to the producer, and everyone was like, listen, we're gonna make it work, and everyone actually backed Douglas Adams. Until you realize the reason they backed him is because it would cost way too much to get a brand new story and do that one that is, economical than it would be to just fulfill what, so they're like, listen, we're gonna ride this tightrope, and we're gonna ride it real fucking well. But, in the end, the BBC, Graham McDonald, who was the head of serials, sent them a letter saying, after the production of the serial was complete, apologizing to them, saying that it was, they were right. They could have, they did pull it off without it looking terrible. Like, they didn't do what they did with Underworld, which was all color separation overlay, because that would have looked fucking awful. Because it looks awful in that episode. But they had actual sets, varied costumes, and they managed to bring a level of technology that doesn't look cheap. Like, it's low budget, but it doesn't look cheap.
Yeah.
If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Sort of like, the you can tell it's like plastic, but there's so much thought put into how to like mold this plastic that you can't tell that it's, a yogurt tin or something. Not that they use yogurt tins, but it's that sort of thing of like...
It literally, on the set of Aliens, they used egg cartons for the walls, so...
Yeah, exactly. It's that sort of thing. It's low budget, but it's not cheap.
Yeah.
Which is an important distinction to when we get to the 80s, when it was low budget and it was cheap, because they just had no fucking money, and also it was the 80s, and the sense of style and fashion in the 80s was such a tightrope of what would age well. But anyway, what happens in the next part, dear?
So the captain is upset that What's-His-Face was not killed, so there needs to be punishment. So now we take Robot Parrot off and to kill someone, so Random Man number 3 is now dead. Whoops. The Doctor wakes up and K9 and says some science shit, and Doctor goes, yes. And they took the kid. The entire city is scared, no one's gonna go help find him, so the grandkids are gonna join the Doctor to find him. They also mentioned Romana was taken, and they have a tracer on her so they know where she is. So let's go to the bridge, but since no one wants to go find the granddaughter goes after her brother or son, her brother, whatever. K9 goes with her, by the way. Romana mentions having an air car, and that's just has a fantastic time heading to the bridge. She's just like, I'm having a great time. Did you know you could speed these things up if you blah, blah, blah? So in order to get to the tower, the Doctor litters some jelly babies in a trail, steals the air car while he's distracted. The guard's distracted. The engine apparently on the planet can't make another jump because they don't have the power, so they should probably settle here. The captain fucking hates this idea. Enter Romana. Romana says she's a Time Lord, travels by time. Too bad the captain doesn't believe her. So the Doctor has gotten up to the thing, and they test Romana about what she knows. She passes. They're like, okay, I guess she's a Time Lord. Too bad the entire planet's engine's gonna burn out. Doctor's gonna send grandson out on guard while he zoops down a corridor to the other side, because it's just an inertia corridor. Romana is asked if they could repair their shit, and she goes, yes, but you should really ask the Doctor. And they're like, wait, who's the Doctor? Speaking of the Doctor, he's here now. Also, he's captured. So the Doctor's allowed to go to the engine room and try to fix it, and if they fuck up, they're gonna kill him. The Doctor has seen something like this, but also not really, so we're gonna take a look around. So they talk about shit kind of quietly while shouting numbers so that they can talk undercover, basically. And the Doctor is worried about everything that they've now seen, realizing that they're now in a lot of trouble. The wand is also really going off, so they're sent off and note that the guards are surrounding them on all sides. Grandson is murdering them all, and we go off to the mines. K9 is off with granddaughter. They have found the Mentats. Doctor, Romana, and grandson have found an elevator that's extremely reliable. The captain is upset and can't see what's down there. and they cannot see what's down in the mine or else. And it's weirdly cold in here, and the entire planet is hollow. But that's strange. Why is that? And apparently it's because the planet basically grabs other planets inside of it, and then like basically destroys them and lets them go when they're done. And a whole world of people just died to make others rich. And the guards run down there, and the tracer is going batshit, so everyone runs. And then the doctor runs into the mentats, and oh, that's not good. So, yeah.
I love that you call them the mentats and didn't even realize that you had misspelled and called them.
Yeah.
You jokingly called them mentos, and then you were like, "Wait a minute, that's mentats."
Well, no, they were like we were talking about something like, what do the Mentoids or whatever do? And I was like, well, you put them in Diet Coke and they go, psh. Yeah, because that's what Mentos do. But then I was writing mentats and I didn't even fucking realize it until halfway through. So, yeah.
Okay, so it was kind of this episode where K9's status as like a family favorite was around this time is when that's kind of really assured, because he was had a cameo on the Generation game later that night after, I believe, episode 3 aired. Which apparently was one of the oddest things to ever see on primetime, of like the host talking to K9. But it also led me to find out that Alpha Centauri, and I told you about this, dear. Alpha Centauri, the old alien from the Third Doctor's era, the one that is just an eyeball with a hyper tubes.
Yep.
Was on the Black and White Minstrel show. And I was like, oh dear God, please don't tell me that's what I think it is. I was like, I know it all, like, clues in the name, but like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not what I think it is. It's exactly what you think it is. And yeah, it's really fucking weird that a Doctor Who alien appears on a racist minstrel show. I don't know, man. It's fucking weird. So, real quick, dear, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You know the old lady when she's sitting in that chair?
Yep.
How much money do you think she was given to just remove her false teeth?
$1.
She was given a £30 bonus to remove her false teeth before lying immobile for long takes.
Why?
Because I don't know, I guess it was part of her contract or something, like, because it would be uncomfortable for her or something. But, you know, she's meant to look decrepit, so they were like, can you remove your teeth? And she's like, that'll be £30, thanks.
Alright.
I love it.
Is that 30? Would that be like $30 or?
Oh no! £30 is worth a lot more than $30. Hang on, let me. So that'd be about 40 US dollars, but this is £30 back in like late 1970s, so like 1978. So how much would that be worth now?
So £100 in 1970 is equivalent to the purchasing power of $1,648.
So basically, okay, so around £150 it says.
Yeah. You mean dollars?
So that's obviously, you know, it's not accurate of like it's not like 1-to-1, but that's around about 200 US dollars, roughly, very roughly. Because remember, inflation calculators, they're not entirely accurate 1-to-1, but you know, a sizable amount of money.
£30 in 1970, I found a calculator, is equivalent to the purchasing power of £494 today, meaning that would be about
what?
£494 today.
What year are you starting with?
1970.
1978.
Okay, 1978 then.
Remember, in between 1970 and 1978, there's a massive massive problem with the economy in between those years. So there's a big difference between the value of money.
It has the purchasing power of $183.39. So about $175.
That's roughly what I came to as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. roughly around then. So not an insignificant amount, but like, you know, fairly large. So Douglas Adams had been trying to submit stories for about 2 or 3 years. One based around a pacifier ray.
Sorry.
What?
It'd actually be like 239. Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
It's fine.
Yeah.
One story including a pacifier ray, which very similar to things in like Horror of Fang Rock and Underworld. Let's not talk about that one. Another story he had, the aggression of an entire mining planet was technologically absorbed, but a Time Lord sent to investigate received the whole lot in one psychic burst and opted to finish hollowing out the world before materializing it around Gallifrey as revenge for being abandoned to his fate. So it's like, okay, we got a little bit of a kind of classic Star Trek story there, of like someone being abandoned and getting revenge, which is a very original Star Trek story.
Yeah.
Another story he sent in at this time, which actually has been finished and novelized now, is The Cricket Men. The second story was about the origins of cricket, the sport. The substance kind of blurred with his Hitchhikers series, but once the Scratchman project bit the dust, because, you know, there were various attempts to make Doctor Who a movie. Scratchman was one of them, which has been released as a book now. Another one, Douglas Adams and Tom Baker tried to launch a Doctor Who and the Cricket Men as the movie. Baker, as a captain of a charity cricket team of the Lord's Taverners, was keen to include the sport in the scripts. So he was a big fan of cricket, so he's like, of course, yeah, fuck it, let's make it. It didn't get made, but it's been made into a novel, and I haven't read it, but, you know, it's Douglas Adams, so it's probably going to be good.
Evie's here.
Yeah, well, really, I hadn't noticed. Graham Williams latched onto some of the minor characters in Adams' proposal, sort of space pirates and stuff, and decided to make these the center of the story. The polyphase Avatron, mentioned briefly in the script, was incorporated to play up the pirate theme. So when you said, oh, that's why they call it a polyphase, it's actually the other way around. It was just called a polyphase Avatron, and then they were like, wait a minute, poly. Why don't we make it a parrot?
Oh.
So yeah, it was actually the other way around. But Adams, one version of the story was said to have the parrot speak and say things like pieces of silicate, but Douglas Adams thought that was a bit too much, and I kind of agree. It also did a good job of keeping K9 out of the way, because, you know, there was something for K9 to deal with, and making the Doctor figure out, you know, what was really going on without some sort of high-tech sort of solution to figure out what's going on. There was also a more subtle reason for including it. Tom Baker had long argued that the role of the companion was unnecessary, and told anyone who would listen that he could get on without a cabbage talking on his shoulder, asking questions and occasionally getting captured. By demonstrating the practical difficulties of such a character, they hoped to shut him up. Note, the Avatron gets fucking destroyed.
I am trying to get her out of my fucking face. It's not working, but continue.
Good luck. At one stage during filming, the Avatron prop mysteriously disappeared and turned up the next day in a skip.
Oh.
But, yeah. What happens in the next part, dear?
But, by the way, the Prelax grandkid that was dying is here, and he's a cult member now. And all the Mentats raise their arms and make a barrier. K9 and... Get out of the fucking way, Evie. K9 and the granddaughter are waiting and notice the Doctor is headed this way. The Doctors apparently knew that they were safe because they read the hearts and minds of the Mentats, and wowee, they're all met up now.
Hearts and minds, dear.
The captain is told that the Doctor is with the Mentats and then kills the messenger who told him that. The Mentats apparently are good and want to overthrow the evil captain. We're now talking about gestalts for a bit, and then they tell the brother and sister about what's happening with the planet for real. The captain is ready to use some good vibrations to neutralize the Mentats' mental vibrations, so that they're not good vibrations.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yes. Anyway, there was some sort of evil queen in the Mentats world, and she went to war a lot, and the captain took over after for some reason. And for those who are telepathic, the fact that they are absorbing life from the planets they are killing, because all atoms in the world have telepathic power, apparently. They also get brain pain, so headaches and shit. K9 warns them about the mines not being safe anymore because of the captain. The captain, by the way, thinks the planet is a piece of shit and wants to go back to being a cool pirate. The lady working with the captain is very sassy, and I didn't know why yet. She's not dead and, like, talking back to the captain. It was very weird. Cut back to the doctor trying the same jelly baby tactic again, but it doesn't work, and he's caught at gunpoint. We are pointed at another planet to jump to, but it's heavily populated, but who cares? Fuck it, let's do it. It's Earth. The doctor is now in handcuffs. But he doesn't know the safe word. But since they're here, since they know the secret, they're probably just going to be killed. Cut to K9 flying a fucking car. Hell yeah. The doctor is shown the remains of all the planets that they've killed, including people, because they've crushed them all into tiny little pieces. And these are the remains, and he's like, but why aren't they black holes? It's like, because we just science balanced it, and it works. And the captain gets upset that the doctor is asking so many questions, but then he's called away. The guards take the doctor. The Mentats and Romana are here to storm the area, and the doctor's like, okay, cool, can you unlock my friend? Because it's whatever. Doctor thinks that they'll be fine, but he also is like, wait, they have a psychic neutralizer. That's not good. So, alright, time to murder the doctor, I guess, and the bird goes off, but K9 is here, and it's a bird-dog-cat-fish fight, and also the grandson and the doctor escape, and make their way over to the door that we saw earlier, and we find an old lady in a chair, and it's called a time dam, and it can slow life down a whole lot, because the lady in the chair is actually Queen Xenexia, and she's suspended... Xenexia, and she's suspended in the
Xanax.
Yes, exactly. In the last few seconds of her life, sassy woman is being weird, and they're just gonna pry the door open now. So destroying the planets is keeping her alive, but why? And K9 has brought back the dead body of the bird, so he's a good bird dog. And so now grandson and K9 need to go sabotage the engine. The doctor walks back to the captain and says, oops, I give up, here's your dead bird. And the captain cries over the dead bird for a bit, and then the doctor's like, alright, cool. I guess I'm guilty? Cool. Time for death. Walking the plank. And then he walks the plank, and there he go, and he die. He die.
He die?
He die.
Doctor die.
He die.
Doctor dead now.
He die.
Doctor die. So...
Mm-hmm.
That's the story, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Romana shoots an enemy soldier dead.
Yeah.
And although her predecessor, Leela, often used deadly force, this was one of the only on-screen occasions in which Romana does so, and her reaction to doing so leaves it kind of unclear as to whether this is the first time she's killed someone or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit, iffy, but who knows?
I mean, I like it.
She may be You like murder.
Yeah. When it's called for, yes.
The doctor's line of standing around all day looking tough must be very weary on the nerves. Was later used in one of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy's radio serials, directed by the character Ford Prefect Ade Vogon. So a lot of Doctor Who stuff that he says in that Douglas Adams wrote for Doctor Who, he reuses for his stuff. Mainly a lot of Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, because that is essentially a whole heap of Doctor Who ideas that he had just fucking turned into something new. Hello, Stinky. Yes, I know. It's nearly 5 o'clock. Initially, Douglas Adams had conceived a drug addiction allegory about a company which preys on people who fear death by offering machines which can slow down time for them, but at an exorbitant price. The company goes bankrupt, however, leaving one old lady in need of a source of fantastic energy. But, the story was needed to be a little bit shorter, so they didn't go with that instead.
Mm-hmm.
So initially, another idea he had was one about immortality peddlers. It would have been a little bit too similar to kind of the stuff that they had in the Reboss operation and also a few other stories, but it would have had a very 70s twist to it. The con men would be the target people scared of dying. That's what they'd target, and offer them means to slow down time, which the story uses an analogy to drug addiction. The only way to pay off the increasing demands of the peddlers was to find 2 new recruits for them. It was, in the terms that they use then, pyramid selling. Sort of stories about such schemes, and then the chain letter hoaxes often used by the same outfits were doing the rounds of current affair programs, as the government tried to find a way to ban this sort of thing without making church raffles illegal as a side effect. With many TV action series using drugs as an excuse to have thuggish heroes beating up people, Adams was intrigued by the idea of drug abuse as a moral problem, a dilemma connecting to free will, capitalism, and victimization. In its finished form, however, the problem for the Doctor is that the majority of people in Zanuck are happy and well-fed, so what right does he have to wreck their society? This was more than an abstract problem in an economically stable, crime-free East Berlin, which is a city that Adams had already visited with other things. So, very, very sort of light on theming, but there's definitely theming here. But yeah, what happens in the next part, dear? The Doctor's dead, you said?
Yeah, he's dead because he fell off, and yeah.
Cool.
So, by the way, they glance behind them. It's the Doctor.
Oh!
He was using a projector or something, meaning something's fucked up. So he's like, hey, look, I can switch off my image. Let's switch off the image of another person. Nope, sassy lady's here. And okay. Oh, it's the Queen. She's the Queen. She's the Queen.
Oh, you peaked your audio.
I did. So it's the Queen. So now the Mentats open a door and are found by the guards, but the guards do nothing. And they then start a rock slide, kill the Mentats. Too bad one lives. Romana kills him instead. So for some reason, the telepathic connection of the Mentats is not working still. And the Queen is questioned about the body. But she's like, I'm fine. But he's like, your transfer isn't fully stable, so you need that body. And guess what? You got your calculation wrongs. And I'm also going to try to convince the captain that he's being used. We talked to Shmi, but he just kind of goes, don't talk to me. But then the captain is a robot that is apparently also kind of controlled by the Queen. Oops. So time to seal the bridge. And the Mentats are here, but they can't get inside the bridge, which isn't good. So if the psychic thing is still working, and then everyone is safe from the Mentats, so why don't we just break that? Oh, the Doctor's left. He's left. He's just left. He's left. So we find the Mentats. The planet is about to jump again and swallow up Earth. K9's batteries are exhausted, and we really need him to help fight the psychic barrier thing. So they plug him in with the power cable, and he's cleared the mental block enough for the Mentats to notice, and we're gonna fucking go back to the TARDIS and make it try to materialize, because if they both try to materialize at the same place at the same time, it fucks up. That's why the TARDIS had trouble at the start of the show. So he talks to Phalanx, I forget his name, the kid that was dying in the beginning, and he's like, remember me,
Phalanx!
and he's like, all right, cool. And so we go back to the TARDIS, throw in some coordinates, and we need to plan it to be at the exact moment that the planet should jump. And
Phalanx!
Then the Phalanx, and they're ready to jump, and Romana's like, okay, so do it now, and then they go. And the planet ship is freaking the fuck out and fucking everyone up. Too bad the Doctor might die, unless the Mentats do shit that they need to do. Seriously, can you open that fucking door? Because we literally have turned off the TARDIS force field, and we're gonna blow up. And they're like, we can't even pick up a wrench. And he's like, okay, well, what about that wrench in the other room? So, okay. So we project our giant floating heads into the other room and pick up a span.
Just like Lego Star Wars.
And pick up a fucking wrench and hit the engine-y bit and blow it up. This is a real thing that fucking happens. So then
I mean, they are mental.
They are mental, it's true. The TARDIS has landed in the Queen's body room, and they go talk to the captain. Cut to the captain, and Shmi is dead as hell, and the captain's very sad about it. Also, look, all the planet bits are here while we look at them and walk by them. Look at them. Wow. Also, the Mentats seriously need to open the door because the ship crashed. Because science, we're gonna kill the Queen. Also, Califrax is the key to time, so that's a thing. Figured it out at the fucking beginning. Oh, we lost the tracer. Wait, I have it? Yeah, we did.
You said the other planet was.
Okay. I said the planet. And then I said, actually, wouldn't it be Califrax? Because at the time, I didn't realize they were not on Califrax. So, so I got it right, technically. So fuck you. And the captain, he's like, I'm going to finally do what
Although, you did say it's the parrot, isn't it, first?
Yes, I did. I was expecting it to be the parrot. Anyway. That was my second guess, though, was Califrax, and I was like, all right, it's Califrax. And then I just kind of stopped guessing after that. So the queen is like, oh my god, what? We need to do shit. Fix stuff, Captain. And then he's like, I'm gonna do what I've been meaning to do forever. And then she just kills him because he was gonna try to kill her. And then we're gonna kill the doctor, too. But the queen just kind of materializes, so I guess she's dead. But now everything is unstable and might black hole, so that's not great. So, let's go back to the TARDIS. The doctor has some stuff to do here, so he does. And then he comes back to the TARDIS, and the planet is now on remote control from the TARDIS. And we basically put the planet with the smaller planets, fuck it all up, and we can pick up the key later when we're done. Yeah. Also, we're going to blow up everything because fuck it, because we wanted to. The grandkids are allowed to be free if they want, but they got to rebuild on their own. And the Mentats are going to be the ones to blow up the bridge because the doctor doesn't kill anyone and isn't going to be blamed. And then we get the timepiece and we leave. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
We got the key to time.
Yep.
It's complete. All of it.
All of it. That's all the pieces we need.
Just kidding. It's not. We need more pieces. So the pirate planet, dear.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I actually gave it a 7.
A 7?
It would have been higher, but at the point of right when they materialize back in the last episode, right? Right when they materialize back and then basically everything forward from there, I was just kind of like, this ending feels really weak. And I don't know why. Because he's like, we're gonna do this thing with the planet, science, and it'll just work. But, like, the fact that I feel
like you could edit it to be a bit better.
The fact that, like, he was talking about the black holes being an issue, but then that's just resolved. The fact that everyone just kind of dies on their own is just resolved. The fact that they're, like, in the TARDIS, but then there's a scene of them, like, running with a fucking, like, plunger explosion system, for example. And it's just kind of, like, a weird cut. It just all feels very weird, like, past that point. And so I think I would rate it higher if that ending had been a little bit more concrete, so to speak.
If it was like all one action instead of several actions at once that kind of feel like they're a little bit like one sentence for this, that's resolved, one sentence for that, that's resolved, one sentence for that, that's resolved.
But then you also have like a whole bunch of loose ends, like the little planets that are forever perfectly balanced there. But now the entire bridge is they return them? Okay. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, that was one of the things. What the part where you were going was when they were saying that they were returning them.
Okay, it just the way they were saying it, for me who has like squishy stupid brain and cried at a multiplication table today, like
to be fair, it wasn't just that it was like a lot of, you know, sciencey techno babble. It was the fact that they were actually saying it really fast.
Yeah, and there was a lot of it.
They were just talking really, really fast.
There was a lot of it too. So, yeah.
That's the pirate planet. We move on now to the next episode. Episode 100, not 100 of the podcast, though, because remember, we have technically missed a few episodes.
Yeah.
Episode 100. And also, technically, this one was broadcast during the 15th anniversary of Doctor Who as well, which they didn't do anything for. Dear... Okay, do you want to guess the first word or the second word? Because it's 4 words, the blank of blank. A classic title. What word do you want to guess? Second or fourth?
What do you mean there's 4 words, the blank of blank? That's 3 words.
I hate you.
Am I wrong?
No, it's 4 words. The blank of blank.
Oh. First one.
Okay, so that's what you want to guess?
Mm-hmm.
The blank of blood.
Oh, stones.
Yeah, that's right. You heard it earlier.
Yeah. I actually remembered something. My medication's working.
Ah, fuck. That's not good. Quick, someone get alcohol into them.
Fuck. Someone give me a weed, quick. Stat, come on.
We need a weed stat. Anyway, yes, the stones of blood. What are the stones? Why are they bleeding? I don't know. I'll tell you.
Probably their period.
Next week. What if I told you it has something to do with Earth? And
so it's Earth's
druids.
period. Yeah, it's Earth's period. Got it.
Maybe a little bit of Stonehenge. Wouldn't be the first, wouldn't be the last time. The Stones of Blood next week.
Yeah.
Action packed. It's not, but it's got some action tenseness to it. Anything else you want to add, dear?
I still think it would have been the parrot. It should have been the parrot.
Deer wants a parrot. If anyone could make a model of the parrot and please send it to Deer, that would be lovely.
Ooh, I
Thank
could
you.
3D print it.
You could 3D print the parrot.
I
You'd have to
could.
model it first.
No, if they send me the model, I could just 3D print it.
Oh yeah, you know, the 3D model that they made back in the 1970s.
Someone could model it. You don't know.
Okay, well, someone model it, send it to Deer, and Deer will 3D print it for themselves. Not for you, but for themselves.
And then I'll send it to Gam as a present for Christmas. And,
Cool.
yeah.
Can it, only if it flies.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. Next week we'll watch The Stones of Blood. All good. On 3, 2, 1, we'll break. Ready? 3, 2, 1, break.